Women assume their attachment is the cause of the problem in the relationship, when actually attachment is the symptom of a different problem. You tend to attach onto men quickly in dating, and as soon as you start liking them, you're anxious, you're more worried, you start to chase them, you start to lean in, you're more in your masculine energy. Very quickly, that relationship doesn't work out because you end up chasing men away. Here's how to stop getting attached when you like a man. First, let's talk about what not being attached or detachment in dating looks like and what it's not. It is not having no feelings and not caring about someone, or not being attracted to someone, or not being interested in someone. You can be attracted to someone, to like someone, and stay unattached. Okay, those two ideas can live separately of each other. It is possible. You're coming to this conclusion that, okay, if I want the men I like to continue to pursue me and commit to me, then I need to stay unattached to them so they will commit to me, because that seems to be working with the men I don't like. However, this assumption of yours has some problems. So think about the nature of how attachment is formed. You only feel the pull of attachment when someone is not available, when he is not there. Because if a man was always there, always available, always ready to talk when you're ready, then you probably wouldn't even notice that you're attached to him, because he's just there. He's just always there to talk to you, comfort you, reassure you. So you wouldn't even notice that you're attached. Like that anxiety wouldn't get a chance to be triggered in you. When a man is slightly unavailable, when he pulls away and comes back, okay, that pulling away piece is important to make the coming back piece give you that super rush, that adrenaline rush, that dopamine hit of, oh, finally I get to talk to him. When you finally get confirmation of his feelings for you or his approval of you, it feels 10 times more amazing than if he was just always there, always giving it, consistently. You have to have that contrast of him pulling away first for you to feel the coming back being 1,000 times or more amazing than it would normally feel, because it feels so good. We start to think, oh, I must be so into him, right? Because I feel amazing when he talks to me. We're taught romantic love happens when we feel something for someone, feel excited about someone. That means we're falling in love with him. The chemistry, how it feels in your body, makes you think, oh, I must be so into him. I must be falling in love with him. It must mean something about our connection, that it's special. And we're also taught that if it's a soulmate connection, if it's real love, we would know it because we would feel it. Okay, so we got all these myths about romantic love kind of swimming in the background too that helps confirm what this is. Your brain is tricking you. Your brain is manufacturing this emotion based on how it is wired. Your primal brain gets activated, and that is why everything else kind of fades into the background. That's why you have a hard time focusing on anything else. All you can focus on is that man, what he is doing, what he's thinking, and you wanting to check up on him every couple of minutes, every hour, seeing what is he doing, has he responded yet? Because your brain is on hyper alert, okay? It's in fight or flight response. Is big flashing lights. Pay attention. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. You're in danger zone. This is the danger zone flashing. Your brain doesn't want you to ignore it because this is a survival instinct. If you have an anxious brain, thank your brain, because it is trying to keep you alive. We think about worst case scenarios long before it actually happens. And that is a good thing because it prepares you, gives you a lot of time to prepare. What you'll probably want to do is want to pull him close, text him a million times, check up on him, try to get his reassurance, right? Try to see what he's doing, where he's at, what he is thinking, who he's talking to, and be checking up on him all the time. And this is because your nervous system thinks of him as your lifeline. So you need to pull him close to get that reassurance, okay? Not because he is someone super special or super important to you, but because your brain is tricking you into thinking he is. Here's how you know your brain is tricking you and you're being tricked. You feel the most intense feelings about him when he is not with you. All of these anxious feelings, exciting feelings, all these butterflies that you're getting when you're thinking about him doesn't come from him directly, direct interactions with the real him and getting to know the facts of him, but it's coming from your brain, what your brain is telling you, feeding you. Replaying past scenarios, fantasizing about future scenarios, best case scenarios, catastrophizing worst case scenarios, inventing very creative solutions on how you're going to fix him, change him, help him, coach him, make him better in some way, fix him up like a project, so he will want to commit to you, fall in love with you, and want to be with you and think you're the most amazing thing ever. What your brain is doing is perpetuating the attachment. It's making it stronger. So you're further investing in him emotionally and mentally, even though he's not participating. Another way to question this for yourself is, like, do you know what he's like on a bad day? How does he react to anger? How does he treat people that does him wrong? How does he deal with conflict? Do you know if he lies? What does he lie about? Do you know what his weaknesses are? Do you know if he's someone that owns up to his mistakes and is self-aware enough to work on himself and self-correct? Not just taking his word, but actually watching his behavior, viewing him, observing him as he goes about his day and his life and how he handles life problems. Chances are you're probably not going to be able to answer any of these with any accuracy because you haven't seen it with your own eyes. You've maybe heard from him or from his friends, but not first account of observing him, being him in his life. And that's how you know that if you're falling in love with someone, you're falling in love with the idea of them and not actually who he is because, well, how can you? You haven't gotten to know him well enough to know those things. So how do you stop getting attached? Number one, stop telling yourself as soon as you like a man, you become attached. That is a story that does not serve you. Instead, tell yourself, when I like a man, I make myself attached by the stories that I tell about him, about why I like him, why I want him and need him, and what it would mean if I had him in my life. That conscious acknowledgement to yourself that the attachment is self-created by your brain is the tool to help you detach from the attachment to the person. You're not attached to the person, your brain is attached to the idea of them. Number two is to know what you like and why you like him. If a man was 100% available, would you still feel the same way about him? If you were being 100% honest, the answer would be no. My guess is you would feel instead smothered, turned off, pressured to get into a relationship with him. You may feel bored. He's just so predictable. He's just a nice guy. He's the safe option. And there's just no spark. By the way, let me know how you have felt when a man has been super available, super into you. Be honest now how you have felt in the comments below. A lot of women like to justify them liking a man and being attached because he's so successful, he runs all these companies, he's an investor, he's doing so well, he's so attractive, he dresses so well, he's such a gentleman. But if you really think about it, you have probably met men like that and you consider them boring. There's just no spark. Exact same men. Them being super successful and dressing well, that's not the reason why you like him. Maybe the truth is you want the excitement. You want a man who makes you feel excited, who gives you that like dopamine rush, the endorphins, the romantic love that, the fantasy idea of what it means to be in love. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you just tell yourself the truth that you actually want that. Maybe the truth is you're not 100% ready for a relationship either. You are looking for more excitement than stability. And that's okay too, but just tell yourself the truth. And then decide, is that what you want to keep choosing for yourself? Number 3, when you know you are attached to the idea of him, now you have an opportunity to get to know yourself and your true desires on a deeper level. The beautiful thing about dating a man that triggers your anxiety, it digs up, brings forward all of your unmet needs and desires that you were not acknowledging. Now what you want to do is you want to journal and write down what these deep desires are. You want to write in detail. What kind of life did you imagine could be possible? What would you now be able to believe about yourself? What would you be able to feel? You want to write in detail all these things, knowing that he is the trigger to bring all this stuff out. But once it's written out, now you can acknowledge to yourself, this is what I actually want. I do not want him. I want all of these benefits that I thought I was going to get. Now your real work is, how do I now make these desires come true if I want them to come true, if they're important enough to me, by myself, regardless of whether he's in the picture or not. Ground yourself to the deep knowing that you don't need a man in order for you to live the life that you want to live. Okay, there's one thing to just tell ourselves this, just because it's nice to say, but it's another to deeply know that is true. And how you deeply know that is true is when you start taking action steps towards it and actually thinking it through in detail, and not just some kind of fantasy, but how am I going to make this come true in practice? True detachment happens when you can consciously acknowledge to yourself that all of these benefits that you thought you were going to get because of him can still happen without him. That is when you have personal power. For example, maybe you'd be able to believe now you can go camping. You've always wanted to, but you've kind of held back because you thought you needed a partner to do that. Maybe you now can believe, I am good enough. I am lovable. Maybe you can believe, I am now ready for a relationship. Maybe you can now have a lot of great sex because you want a lot of great sex. Step number 4, the ones that are important to you, you're going to start taking action towards them. Just take one small step towards those goals. Books, courses, Google search, even researching it and looking it up. That one little step takes you a bit further towards the ultimate benefits that you wanted. If you would like to take this work to a deeper level and learn more about how to stay unattached and how to be irresistible to men, then go to the link in the description below. Attachment is empowerment. It's the deep knowing that you don't need someone in order to feel safe, to feel okay, to feel abundant, to have the life that you want. If you still have more questions on what to do when a man pulls away, especially when you tend to be more anxious, then you'll want to go check out this video where I will break it down and go into more details as to what to do. Thank you so much for watching this video, but I will see you in this video next.